And welcome to the Geeks, Flicks, and Just the Podcast YouTube channel. This show called What You Doing, where we talk about what we watch and play during the week. I'm your host, Editor Perez, with me, sometimes my friend,
Felix.
Siki Six.
With my silky voice.
Oh shit, smooth jazz. 98.1.
So what's up, dude? What you been doing?
I'm gonna kick it off, man. I'm gonna start to have a little murder corner. Murder. It's a little murder corner.
I'm starting to have a little bit of fear in my soul.
You should. No, I don't know what I got. I've been dealing with
you
this.
You should. Thanks for the reassurance.
I've been struggling with this for the past few weeks. I don't know what. I just love murder documentaries now, and I want to learn anything about them. Mm-hmm. Going down the line. This week was these one really known one, legend. The other one, not so much. But you've heard of Ted Bundy, eh?
Okay. Yes, I have.
Okay, this came out 2019, I believe, and it's Conversation with the Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes. So it follows. Yeah, it shows his recordings that he had with a journalist, and in between that, they're showing everything with the case. It's basically everything that happened in the case. I think it was 4 or 5 50-minute episodes. So if you don't know what was good about Bundy, this takes place in the 70s. He's a mass murderer, rapist. He would prey on college girls, and he's very dapper. Like he's very clean cut. He's got like a politician facade to him. Like a lot of people can trust him. He has a very trusting face. He's the typical person that you wouldn't believe he does. Right? This is only in case you don't know who the fuck Ted Bundy is.
Yeah.
But
like Ted did it? Nah, Ted did that.
It's a way. No, he don't hurt a flower. Well, he murdered bitches and killed people and all this other shit, right? So the tape
murder bitch.
Yeah. The tapes are him talking about himself as if to document his life. So towards the end, these tapes are kind of like his confession to it. But there's a mixture between his life documentary and it goes back to the journalist trying to keep track of all the things you're saying, and then they couldn't get him talking, and then it wasn't until they implemented the strategy of, okay, talk to me as if you were a killer, then they got him to talk and trying to describe it. Well, if it was me, kind of like an OJ situation, like, oh, if it was me, well, then I would have done it this way and I would have done it that way. And then he starts rambling about these murders. The thing with Bundy is that he was very educated, very smart. He thought of himself as a lawyer. So there are over 100 hours of tapes, and it goes back and forth because he escapes jails, and they're chasing him from one way to another. He's in California, I think, first, and then he flees to Florida, but then there's murders and killings in Florida. So they're like, wait, who's this guy? And then he don't want to say his name in court. There's just all this crazy shit. But they catch him, and they start to link all these things together. It's the same kind of criminals, same kind of crimes, same kind of ladies. This was the very first televised case, like the spectacle of watching a case on TV, a la OJ, a la Richard Ramirez. But
you were gonna say Jay Leno or something?
No, that was good. I was gonna call him Jason. I don't know why I didn't. But yeah, he escaped twice. And listening to him is very fucking creepy, it's just very creepy. I don't think they ever explained as to why he did it. It kind of, for me, it kind of feels like he thought he was smarter than everybody else, so he thought that he could get away with it, and he was for a while. He was representing himself in jail. Like he fired so many prosecutors, so many defendants. He was a pain in the ass to work with, honestly. And then he would have this weird, goofy ass smirk, just very creepy smirk on trial. Every time like he looks at the camera, he couldn't help himself as to smirk. And it's like, bro, you fucking did it. Like, get out of my face, right? Like, and he gets groupies and shit. Like, people
Oh yeah, I see
He
that.
got a lady pregnant and shit. It's like, what the fuck's going
Wait.
on, man? Yes.
During the trial?
He had one of his friends was like, yeah, she was all like in love with him and trying to get him out and how that he couldn't do it and la verga, but it's so obviously that it was him. And they had visits and then they would like fuck during the visits and she got pregnant and while he was married. It's a gigantic mess. It's called Conversation with the Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes. I liked them. It was cool. Now I got the Ted Bundy check mark. I got the Richard Ramirez check mark. I got a couple more that I got to go through. It's very interesting if you're into that murder shit like myself at the moment. Another one, because I'm still in this. I'm still in this murder documentary shit. This one's called The Confession Killer. You ever heard of this one? This one came out a couple years ago as well. This one follows.
No, I haven't heard of this.
This follows Henry Lee Lucas. This is after the Bundy. The Bundy stuff happened in the 70s. This takes place in Texas in 1983. So he gets picked up for killing his girlfriend and his girlfriend's mom. And then while in court, he confesses that he has another 100 killings. Right. That starts to lead into this giant. Yeah, I've done 100 more. I've done more, 100 more. He's like chill, tranquilo, vato, chilling. And then that opens visitations for sheriffs and deputies all over the world. Because he's being detained in Texas, so 1,000 officers are flying to him to interview him about certain murders. And this fool was straight up just like, Simone, yeah, that was me. I did that. And then I took her over here and I cut her head off and I had sex with her body. And that's the way. Henry Lee Lucas does look like a motherfucking killer. He had 3 fucking teeth. They're all fucking. I don't know how you have teeth as long as my finger, but this motherfucker had giant fucking teeth, like 2 or 3 teeth. He had a lazy eye. Shout out to Bubbles. This motherfucker looks like a motherfucking killer, man. This motherfucker looked like a killer. This fool's scary, but at the same time he doesn't. He has like an innocent, stupido vibe to himself. But he just started literally confessing to all these. He just started confessing to all these killings, and and he's getting attention from reporters and all this shit. So he's loving all that attention. So he becomes cooperative, and he's all open about explaining how he did these things. And then they talk about his upbringing. He had a terrible upbringing. He was running around with a drifter, like a gay guy who confessed to doing killings with him. Like the gay guy would get the guys and he would get the girls and all this kind of shit. And then he's saying that he killed women. It was usually women that he would kill, but towards the end, he was just confessing to everything. That it was like there was no pattern. There was little kids, there's boys, there's guys, there was everything. But he was trying to paint himself as this terrible killer.
Right?
That's what the documentary is about. Whether or not he did it or not, you can tell that no, he bullshitted. He was lying. Why he lying? I don't fucking know. It's a crazy ride for sure, because he's like pretending to have all this crazy recollection about certain murders, and you're like, okay. And then some things, because the sheriff is telling you that he's getting things spot on and he's never seen these things and he's never seen all these things. And because he's helping the sheriff and all these other policemen from all these other states, he gets to free roam. He gets free range in prison, right? He's walking to the soda machine and getting a soda without handcuffs and just walking around as if he was like some kind of fucking canine dog unit or some shit. And the sheriffs are like, we got to keep him happy, so let's get him his fucking strawberry milkshake. And he's in there sipping on strawberry milkshakes. He's like, what the fuck? He's got Japanese people coming, right? This is to the extent as to where he was lying, because he just started going off the rails, and he's lying like a motherfucker. There's infamy around him, right? Henry Lee Lucas. I had never personally heard of him, but these Japanese journalists are like interviewing him, right? And then he's all like, well, I got a couple murders in your country as well, right? And they get all bright-eyed. They get all bright-eyed. They're like, what the fuck, for us? Yeah, really? And they're like, how did you get over there? And he's like, I drove. And then it makes the journalists go, what the fuck? Wait, what? because there's a journalist with him who is the same journalist that was with Ted Bundy at the time or after, right? So he grew in infamy. He's trying to figure out, and he's connecting the dots, and he's like, this shit don't make sense, dog. He ended up confessing to over 600 murders. And he described scenes to a T.
He was fucking nuts.
Yeah, he would he would describe scenes to a T, and then sometimes he would be 100% completely off. The cops basically used him as a scapegoat, and there's this whole conspiracy thing of whether or not the Texas Rangers were feeding him the information as to get the guy, right, to close all these open cases around murder. It's very interesting. It was another 5-parter, 40 to 50 minutes. I ate that shit up because it's interesting, because then they drop bombs after every episode. Remember I told you that he got caught for having a girlfriend? Well, towards the last episode, it's like, I'm the girlfriend, I'm alive, he didn't kill me. You're like, what the fuck? So that's a whole other debacle that happened. I recommend it. I recommend both these if you're a psychopath like myself right at the moment. Conversation with the Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, and the Confession Killer, the Henry Lee Lucas story. I had never heard of them prior to this, but I enjoyed them. They're cool. They satisfied my murderous itch right now. Hell yeah.
God damn. You have been walking a dark road right now.
I know. I want to keep going. Manson is next. I need to find some Manson. Where he at? Where you at, bitch? I need to find some Manson stuff.
Oh, well, I think there's a lot of that on the internet. Right?
I gotta find it. I'm gonna find it. That's next week. All here in the murder corner. All right, bro.
What's your murder corner?
What's Nick? What you been watching? Let's get out of this murder.
Well, we're not getting out of the murder yet.
Oh damn!
I watched the movie called Shadow. Watched the movie called Shadow in the Clouds. That is 2021 movie, I think so. 2021, 2020. I don't know.
Okay.
And stars Chloe Grace Moretz. Remember you talking about it on the pod?
It's
about the Chloe. She boards this plane full of dudes during the Second World War, and she gets carrying a package, and she's carrying orders. The orders say she has to be delivered to some place in Hawaii. Everybody is against it. Yeah, everybody's against it except this one guy.
Cause she a lady.
So they stick her. Yeah, she. Who?
Pues la Chloe.
Who lady? Was she a lady? Way a huevo?
I mean, that's why they're against her, cause she a lady.
Yeah, I mean, so during the Second World War, almost no girls were allowed in a full male crew, and the women had their own Air Force, but it was like kind of a delivery service, rescue service, military supply drop off, and all that. So they didn't go to battle. But turns out this one has seen battle. And she's carrying this package, so they stick her in the bottom gun turret of the plane while they're talking heinous shit about her.
Right.
And this dude, the one who's not against her being on the plane, he takes the package and sticks himself in the top gun turret. So half of the movie, she is in this turret while strange things are happening in the plane. Right. And as we see in the trailer, there's this fucking gremlin-looking motherfucker that they say is a gremlin stirring havoc. So half of the movies is in the turret, and the other half is just action. It's just fighting. It's just pew-pews, but it's all happening in this plane. The cool thing about it is that while the first half of the movie, she's the only one we see. And when we see the other the crewmen, the flight members, they're like in like a dark background with color, with a colorful silhouette. So it's very stylized in that way. But the cool thing is that we only see her the first half of the movie all the way, and at the second half, where the action starts to come up, we see almost everybody. But we see the aftermath of what's happening. So it's a pretty contained movie. It's actually pretty fun. It's like an hour and a half, and it does not lag. So I would fully recommend this movie. The trailer kind of sets it up as like this action horror kind of thing, but it's more slow paced. We got a kind of a twisty twist at the end, but it's actually pretty cool, and it's fun. I suggest you watch it.
I might. I remember being low key next stoked, but it was like it was gonna take you taking the bullet for me. I wasn't gonna take the plunge, but I might Shadow in the Clouds. I might check that one out.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty cool. Maybe not rush into it, but it's actually, I recommend it. I recommend you watch it. And after that, I saw this movie called Synchronic.
Okay.
This is about two EMT workers, which one is Anthony Mackie. The other one, I do not remember his name, but he played Christian Grey in I was gonna say Grey's Anatomy, 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay.
So they're EMT workers, and they start they're the night workers, and they get a call about this accident that happened in the house. So they go to the house, and turns out that they find a guy laying on the floor who got stabbed with a sword. And they find the sword, but it was an antique sword. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Okay. Then they go to another house, and there's this lady who just got bit in the leg by this poisonous snake only found in the Amazons. And we're like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Then they find this guy just blown to pieces in an elevator shaft, but he's smiling. So they start like, what the fuck is going on here? Because everything's weird, and they keep getting these rappers. They keep finding these rappers that said Synchronic. So they say, okay, it's a drug. So what the fuck's happening right now? So they start tracking down this drug and what's happening. Whilst we see a little bit of the personal lives of Anthony Mackie and the Christian Grey character. Anthony Mackie has this tumor in his brain. Yeah. And Christian Grey is having kind of is having problems in his marriage and such. So Christian Grey has this daughter who's very attached to Anthony Mackie. So they talk, they shoot the shit, they have laugh. But one day she disappears, and nobody knows how, nobody knows what, so that kickstarts a lot of stuff, and kickstarts Anthony Mackie taking this drug. So then when he takes the drug, we get to see it is revealed to us how those strange emergency calls started happening. So we get to delve in this kind of science fiction type of thing. I don't want to reveal what it is, but it's really interesting, and the way that the thing kind of takes the turn and it kind of does things is pretty cool. It does drag a little bit because he kind of experiments a lot with his drug, and I don't know, I liked it because of what it did, but it came so out of left field how the sci-fi aspect of this movie came to be. Yeah. That it kind of made it really, really, really unbelievable. But I said, you know what? I'm going to take it as it is. And I had fun, but it did require a little bit of suspension of disbelief.
But it's sci-fi here on Earth, no? It looks like I'm looking at pictures. I'm scrolling through pictures. I kind of remember seeing a trailer for it. I can't remember if we talked about it or not. Didn't stick in my brain, but it's all taking place in Earth.
Yeah, it's taking place on Earth. And I say sci-fi because it's kind of that drug makes shit happen.
It says drama, horror, sci-fi. So you're good. You're right on the sci-fi.
Yeah. So and horror, it's kind of not horror. Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know what type of horror this could be inside, but I do not think it's a horror. Yeah, it's a very loose term. It's more like a sci-fi drama. Okay. It really sticks in that vein. So in the sci-fi-ness of the movie, it's pretty cool. That suspension of disbelief, I think, for me, it kind of didn't do it all the way. But once it turned that switch off, I enjoyed the ride. It's like an hour and a half, also, hour and a half, yeah. So it's a pretty cool movie. I don't think you should watch it. Maybe it's not the type of movie for you, but maybe somebody that you should pass on it. But maybe it's in a niche. I think it's more for a niche audience. Not for the broad world of people.
Hey, what you saying? I'm not special? Fuck you, Doug.
Oh, you're special, but this is not your special. Hey, you're into murder. Sticking to murder.
Yeah, let's stick it to murder, Doug. Keep going. The next documentary a murderer watched is okay. It's kind of murder, kind of not, but kind of is.
Okay.
This came out later, sometime last year. It's called Fear City, New York versus the mob, son. The fucking mob. The motherfucking mob. So this takes place late 70s, early 90s. And it's literally like the movies, right? It's like they paint it like that, where you got a boss. That boss has an underboss. The underboss under the boss is a captain. Then that captain has soldiers. So there are five main mob families. The only one that stood out to me was the Gambino family. I forget the other one. That one's because of obvious reasons. But the first there's only 3 episodes, 40 to 50 minutes long. I eat that shit like Skittles. The first episode is called Mob Rules, and they talk about how really the mob is run like a business. That's why it's called organized crime. So the head bosses carry themselves as if they were like owners of billion-dollar companies, because that's basically what they were. They were running the city like the government had no hold over them. They literally couldn't do shit. The local FBI agents starting to. This happens throughout the whole documentary, but they start to bug different underbosses and captains and soldiers from certain families. Each branch had a task to attack certain families, but they go into specifics as to how they bugged them. So they would pretend to be phone companies, and then I'm fixing your phone, and then fuck with the phone and actually bug the phone. So you get to hear the live recordings of what was going on in those kitchens or what were going on in those living rooms, and it's literally fucking everyone. Wow. Every single recording is Joe Pesci. Right? We're gonna get that motherfucker. We're gonna get that motherfucker cocksucker. He don't take that motherfucking money. He gonna get it. It's exactly that shit. It's exactly like that. It's exactly like that.
Get this through your head, Get this through your head, you Jew motherfucker, you. You only exist out here because of me. That's the only reason. Without me, you, personally, every fucking wise guy still around, I'll take a piece of your fucking Jew ass. Then where you gonna go?
I was like, oh shit. We actually get an actual footage of one of the agents bugging somebody. So you can see from the window. You can literally see him. The reenactments of certain things that weren't really caught on tape was very good. There was this one incident with a doggy that they were talking about. That was really cool. You heard of John Gotti?
Yes, I have.
Okay, he was a captain from the Gambino family.
I thought it was higher.
Yeah, they said captain in this thing.
Okay.
Which that is 3 layers underneath. That's 2 layers underneath the main guy. But to be the main guy, you're the guy to be the shit, right? And then underneath, you're the main guy. Like, you can walk around and nothing happens to you. And the only way you can, you hear the bosses getting whacked, right? The only way a boss can get whacked, this is part of the mob rules, is that the other bosses have to agree in getting that guy whacked.
Oh.
Yes.
So it's not, you can't just go willy-nilly.
No, I can't just kill this guy because I want to. No. It's very much organized crime. Yeah. It's very much like The Godfather. Like, no, we all in agreement, this fool gonna get it, and then if a soldier gets it, then he gets elevated to captain. And it's this whole fucking RPG game of the mob, which is fucking fantastic.
God damn.
Yeah, that's what it's called, organized crime, because they had control of their workers' union. So they had their toes dipped into the construction company. They had their hands in the union workers of restaurants, of theaters, of everything. They basically ran the whole thing. Second episode is the Godfather tapes, where they're starting to get recordings of higher people. This is where the reenactment comes in. And then this is where the fart master, Rudy Giuliani, makes his appearance.
The answer that I gave you is they didn't bother to interview a single witness. Just like you, they don't want to know the truth.
Not part of that.
I will ask that he be disciplined for that. First of all.
Hold on.
He's in this documentary heavily.
Oh. shit.
I found it fucking hilarious that towards the end of the second episode, he's like, I hate the mafia. I hate mobsters. I hate gangsters. They're the worst people that he can think of. It's funny that he represents the biggest gangster of them all.
No mames.
You know who he represents?
No, who?
He's Donald Trump's lawyer, man.
Oh, no mames. I kind of zoned out. I was like, who? Because I was thinking about maybe he would represent somebody at the time.
No. He represents Donald Trump, who's like right now the biggest gangster of all time, right? He operates himself as a mobster. And as I was writing this note down, the last episode is Judgment Day. Guess who shows up on screen? A young whippersnapper, Donald Trump, talking about the construction of his Trump Tower in Manhattan. So to get that shit done, right, he had to literally pay off the mob because the mob controlled the concrete companies that were used to build these towers. So anything over $2 million, they had to get like a tax because the state would give you a tax over that. So that's how the mob was making money. But then you have to give the mob an extra little cut. So literally, this documentary is saying that Trump was not, in involvement with the mobs one way or another. You had to.
Well, yeah.
You fucking had to. But then this isn't shown in the documentary, but there is a rumor that the construction of the New York Yankee Stadium, there's a bunch of bodies down there because of the same reason that the mob would control the concrete company. So what do you do when you're building concrete, Mr. Architecture guy? You fucking you have to dig a giant ditch to start with the base. You fill that motherfucker with bodies. You fill that motherfucker with concrete. Dun dun. Everybody disappears. Sleeping with the fishes. How you doing? It's really quick. Damn. It's 3 episodes, 50 minutes. I liked it. It was really good.
So basically, The Irishman does touch upon this, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Like they touch upon the workers' union with Hoffa and all that.
Yeah.
But goddamn, so they had their fingers in everything.
They had the fingers in everything, and the documentary is basically how it was Rudy Giuliani in the front hold. He was the U.S. District Attorney, I think it was, that brought them down eventually. There's a whole thing with RICO. RICO is a form that wasn't really used. That's basically to charge a group, an organization together as one, because you can't just go after them one by one. You have to prove that they are in an organization, and that goes with these tapes, and they started to link things together, and then this guy was dying and that guy was dying. It was pretty interesting. I didn't know shit about the mob. They didn't really go into a whole lot into detail of the John Gotti, because I know the John Gotti tales is a whole other thing. They were just talking about the bringing down of the top 5 families that were running New York. It was pretty interesting. I liked it. It's called Fear City, New York versus the Mob. It came out sometime last year.
Okay, goddamn, that sounds pretty interesting.
It's interesting.
What year is this is supposed to be in the 60s, 70s?
No, it's late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Because it even shows, because it even shows after when all this is said and done, Giuliani is a
Trump Tower.
Yeah, Giuliani is a Italian American, and he ran for mayor right shortly after, and he got reelected. But he had to they showed him how to use a gun because he's messing with the mob. So his family got threatened, and then they thought he was going to kill his wife, y la madre. So it's all, he's in there a little bit towards the end because he's like the hero. They're trying to paint him as a hero. But yeah, it's very interesting. Fear City, New York versus the Mob. It's on Netflix. All these are on Netflix, by the way, if I didn't say Netflix.
God damn, Netflix is stepping up his game.
I mean, it's been in there, but it's just I didn't give a shit until all of a sudden the murder bug bit me, and I'm like, give me something.
Well, from one interesting thing to the polar opposite.
Oh no!
I watched Jiu Jitsu.
Jiu Jitsu.
So I started watching this movie about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think I remember saying in What You Doing, you're gonna get my review next week. You know why you didn't get the review? Because I couldn't stomach the fucking movie. It's horrible. I mean, you called it. We all called it. This is shit, but this just dethroned Splinters as the worst movie I've ever seen for me.
Neta?
Yeah. And See, wait, it's hilariously bad. It's
Yeah.
okay. So this movie is an hour and 40-something minutes long. I just watched 45, and I'm daring to review this movie because it's a shit show and a half.
See what?
Towards the the stories that this fucking monster comes every 6 years. Each time this comic orbits the Earth.
Okay.
But the first time he came to Earth, he taught Jiu Jitsu to the humans. So he has to fight 9. So what the fuck are you laughing at?
What do you mean? What you just said that a fucking alien came down to teach people jujitsu? You don't want me to fucking laugh? What's wrong with you?
Oh, I thought you saw an image or something. Cause
No, I'm listening to the words that you're saying. They're fucking ridiculous.
Okay, so he teaches jujitsu to the humans. So every 6 years, when a comet flies by Earth, a portal opens. He comes to Earth, and he has to fight 9 warriors. So if he fights this 9 warriors, if he wins or they win, if he wins and they die an honorable death, he just goes to the other soldier, the warrior, and the other warrior. So until he beats all 9 of them heroically, or they beat him. So if one of them does not die in a heroic way, he says, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna destroy the planet.
Damn.
So jump to this. The movie starts with the alien following this dude, and he kills him. The special effects are beyond terrible. The sound effects are your generic. You can download them from royalty-free library.
Yeah.
It's just disgustingly bad. And after 40 minutes of the movie, you get the Lord of Shittiness himself, the much respected Nicolas fucking Cage. And what does he do? Exposure. What I just said about the alien, he tells us 40 minutes into the movie.
Okay.
The acting is bad. I couldn't stomach it. The acting's bad. The writing is horrible. The action sequences are stupid, and the special effects I just can't even. So after,
I mean, it's weird that the fighting isn't good because we got Tony Jaa from the Ong Bak movies running around. We got Frank Grillo. You got Nicolas Cage, Alan Mosi. He's a martial artist. They're like legit martial artists.
Yeah, I mean,
that do stunts and
with Tony
shit.
Jaa.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a sequence with Tony Jaa, and I've seen him fighting in other movies. I mean, the Ong Bak series.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Tony Jaa in the Raid movies?
I think so.
So we've seen him do these yeah, me too. We see him do this amazing choreographies in other movies, and when you see it in this movie, Tony Jaa feels sluggish. He feels slow. The choreography feels choppy. There's a couple of moments in this like 5-minute sequence where he's like one shot take kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's some parts of that truly look like the stunt doubles really took the fucking hit. But after that, we see it's sluggish. It's I don't know. It's it's boring. I was trying to watch it like a couple of hours ago, and I just couldn't. I just took it off.
It says action. It says action, comedy, fantasy. Is it funny at all?
No, it's not.
Are we supposed to laugh at it?
I do not know how to answer that question.
Damn. What do you mean?
So, the only thing that is kind of funny is that Nicolas Cage is this crazy looking dude who doesn't give a shit but tries to teach our character how to do stuff, or how to kind of like, you have to meditate, you have to tune everybody out and whatever. But he says it in this way that is so moronic that that's funny. But anything other than that is not. It's just horrible. And he tells actually this line that just stuck with me. He said he has to fight the jiu-jitsu, and you are the jiu-jitsu. He tells the main guy. I was like, yeah, I'm turning you off. And that's the point when I turned off the movie.
You turned it off?
Yeah. When he told the guy, you are the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
I got that.
50 minutes more.
Damn. I mean, you finished Splinters.
I finished Splinters.
But you didn't finish Jiu Jitsu.
No, I couldn't.
I knew this was
I
gonna.
mean, maybe.
I knew this was gonna be a dumpster fire. I think I did a solo when I was talking about this by myself, and I said, "This is some bullshit that you would probably watch," and I called it. It currently has a meta score of 28. That is out of 100. If y'all didn't know, and I mean, it looks like it. Why was this made? I don't understand. Let me see. I'm gonna Google the fucking budget. Like, just donate that shit to fucking charity, man. What are you making
They
it
should
for?
have, because the movie really goes out of its way to tell you the name of the main guy, which
25 million.
it shows. It definitely shows.
That's a lot of money. What do you mean?
Well, for a movie, it's not, because I remember Deadpool being like, "Oh, Deadpool was filmed with dirt cheap money, and it was like 150 million." I was like, "Oh shit, that's a lot."
It made 72. It made 72,000 in the box office.
Yes, it's and I know why. It's shit. It's complete utter shit.
$72,493 in the box office. Just donate that shit. Just donate that shit? What are you doing?
They should have. I mean, I watched. I was watching a review for this movie from the Angry Joe show.
Yeah,
and they called it a hilarious masterpiece. I mean, I totally disagree with them. I just say it's
because they're probably laughing at it. You know what I mean?
Oh, they're laughing at it, and the three of them watch it together. I think this is the type of movie you have to watch drunk as fuck with your friends.
Yeah,
you do that, you're gonna enjoy the shit out of your evening. I would imagine. But if you want to watch it by yourself, I mean, if you jerk off, that's gonna be way more fun than this.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, it's bad. So yeah,
Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, I got
do not touch. Yeah, do not touch. Yeah, not with a 100-foot pole. And you totally called it. And when
it's easy to call. Look at the damn trailer.
But when you said Felix gonna take, I know Felix gonna take the bullet. I sent you a message. I'm totally gonna take the fucking bullet.
Yeah, I know it. I know.
I took the bullet.
You took half the bullet and then you shut it off.
Yeah, and because I had to dig the whole fucking bullet out. So yeah, I mean I imagine that in some maybe 5 years it's gonna be like a cult classic or whatever. But no. This is don't do this to yourself.
Don't do this to yourself. Instead, you can head your ass over to YouTube and watch the last thing I watched this week, and it's The Heart of Batman, the story of the Batman animated series. This is on the DC YouTube channel. This is a documentary. I think it was like an hour and a half long. They talk about everything behind the Batman animated series. I remember vaguely watching Batman the animated series. I would love to go back and watch it to appreciate it more. It's one of people's favorite Batman. It's iconic. The way that everything is drawn is super iconic, very dark. Wanted to be a mangy, darker Batman because at this time, they had the Super Friends, which was very, very corny. Shout outs to me and Bubbles. We were watching Spider-Woman, and that's another thing that's funny to laugh at just because it's so ridiculous. But that was made in the 70s, and just the way that everything is, the way it's written, the way they talk, it's very, very cheesy. Everything in there's Spider-Man cartoons in the 80s is very, very cheesy. Like, hey Timmy, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And there was so many guidelines that they had to follow. Like you can't show them getting hit, or you can't show this because it's cartoon. So it has to follow down that guideline. So The Heart of Batman, the story of the Batman animated series, again on YouTube, DC, very good. Check it out. They talk about how they had to grab the brass ring. They were taking all these different risks. They were going to go darker. There's a gun in the trailer of the shooting in the dark. It's just scary. Yeah. The artwork, the way it was worked, and it's still iconic, and it still holds up today. I would love to probably go back or buy some kind of set and watch the whole thing. I
actually want to do that too.
Yeah, were you a big Batman the animated series guy?
I remember I watched it. Like, I do not know how many episodes are there, but
there's a lot.
When I was a kid, I remember when I was a kid, I was watching it on cable because one of my cousins had it, and we stayed at his house a lot, so we had to watch whatever we could. And when Batman came out, that was like, okay, I told my brothers, we're gonna shut the fuck up and we're gonna watch Batman. And my brothers shut the fuck up, and we all watched Batman.
Yeah.
Quietly, because it was a very good show. Because it was so dark, it was so unexpected for a cartoon show.
Yeah, they touch upon also the subjects of dealing with all these different episodes and how they had like the old school title cards, and they go into that and they talk about with the illustrators and the deal, you know, because during this time Warner Brothers had the Baby Looney Tunes, I think it was called Baby Tunes, one of those. Where Bugs Bunny is Tiny Toons, where Bugs Bunny is blue for some reason, or it's not Bugs or whatever. There's a blue Bugs.
Oh yeah.
So that was really popping. And that was Spielberg. This is also Spielberg has his hand behind this, and they talk about how they were taking all these risks, and that the storylines are pretty heavy. Everybody knows by now. Mr. Freeze's storyline, the Heart of Ice, and all that shit. That's a very iconic. They talk about how. You know, the design of Two-Face. They just go into detail of all these things. I really want to go back and check these out, because I mean they are adult themes, so they still translate to now, even though it's a kid show. Anybody can pick it up and watch it. Some behind the scene things that I love, as in casting. You know, y'all already know, because we did the game. That's fucking hilarious. Was good. Go check out the What You Doing. Tim Curry was originally the What You Doing, the podcast. My bad. Tim Curry, who has famously played It, was originally supposed to play the Joker. But
I knew this.
Yeah, but the producer didn't like him, so they called in Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill laughed, and they were like, "That's it. He's him. That's him.
Mm-hmm.
He's it. He's got it."
Oh wait, they casted him? I did not know that they casted him because of his laugh.
No, he auditioned, and then the second he laughed, they was like, "He's got it." Tim Curry was in the running.
Yeah, I know about Tim Curry, but they kind of didn't want to choose him because he was too creepy or something like that.
The producer just wasn't feeling it, you know.
Okay.
And for reals, if we're talking about strictly voice, Mark Hamill's probably my Joker, honestly. Yeah. I love Jack. I love Heath. You know, I love them. I mean, shout out to Jared Leto, because why not? Joaquin, he's the boss, but they all can bow down to the animated Joker. Just his voice, even in the game. My favorite one is in the game, because that's where the most time I spent with them. I didn't spend much time, as I said, in the animated series, because I was fucking 2 or 3, 5 years old.
He did both of them, right?
He did the game. Yeah,
City and Our Asylum, right?
Yeah, Origins was somebody else, but
Troy Baker, right?
Troy Baker was Batman.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be the Joker.
I think he did Batman for Origins, and I forget who else did it. He might have done Joker, I'm not sure. But Mark Hamill's Joker is probably the best, without a doubt.
Hold tight.
I'm in touch!
Oh yes,
it's the best.
He puts this signature on that Joker that it still chills me, and it's you cannot mistake that voice.
No, and there's some gravelly to it that makes you that disarms him as like, he's harmless, he's not going to do anything, but he also has this creepiness to it, and he turns up the dial a little bit more, and it's just perfect. It's perfect. It's the perfect voice for the Joker.
Okay, so I just IMDb the cast.
Yeah.
So Troy Baker does the Joker
as well.
Yeah.
He does them both?
I'm looking for Batman, but I just don't see, because it says Ben Mercenary, Alice, Bane, but Troy Baker does the Joker.
Oh, he did. My bad. He did Batman in the Telltale one. That's why I'm all fucked up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when you said that, it kind of rang a bell, but I could have bet in my life that he also did Batman, but he did him for the Telltale ones. So fucking no Troy. Wonder. Yeah, Troy does it all. But yeah, no, Mark Hamill's the shit. That one's free. It's The Heart of Batman, the story of the Batman the Animated Series. It's on the DC YouTube channel. Go check that one out.
Yeah, you bet your ass I'm gonna watch that.
That's a good one. Go check that out. Yeah, Go check out if you want whatever we recommend. I recommend Murder. I also recommend from what Felix told me, Shadow in the Clouds. That's a good one that I'm gonna go watch myself. Synchronic sounds like you can pass on. Go check out Fear City, New York versus Le Mob. With Felix, go say thank you to Felix on the comments for taking the bullet for Jiu Jitsu, and definitely go watch The Heart of Batman. Am I correct, Doug?
Yes.
Alrighty, let's get the fuck on out of here. Anything you want to say to the beautiful people, Doug?
Yeah, give us some love on the socials. Goddamn.
Yeah, go give us some love on the socials. We won't blast you if you say nice things. Anyway, always and forever, UDL.
Bye-bye.
Bye.